Hey guys, and welcome to Eating Clean with Jamie Green. This is something I've wanted to do for a really long time, is record like a little cook show, pretty much so I could talk to you guys about some substitutions that I like to do, just some little tips that I like to do when I'm baking and I'm cooking, especially when I'm doing gluten and dairy free. Whenever I'm posting my recipes online, it is hard to fit everything into that little post box. So I figure if I can kind of put into a video for you to watch and try to make it as quick as possible so that you can see that, eating clean is actually not that hard and you can make these recipes really quick, really easy. And there's lots of substitutions for everything. If you don't need it gluten or dairy free, I just want to be able to tell you how you can change that up. So today what we're going to be doing is making chocolate chip cookies. These are like one of my favorites. I actually made a batch yesterday. They're big, they're soft, they're chewy, they're chunky, amazing. I made a dozen yesterday and there's 3 left. So for the weekend, I'm gonna make a new batch. So I thought I would do that with you guys. So what this is, it's a 1 bowl chocolate chip cookie recipe. It is gluten and dairy free for myself, but you can totally substitute it. I'm using a gluten-free all-purpose flour, but you could use a regular flour or a whole wheat flour for it instead. So what I'm gonna do first is I've already measured this out. It's 1.5 cups. So I'm just gonna add that in there. Then what I'm gonna do is just add a dash of salt. I don't measure my salt, but I would say maybe 1/4 teaspoon if you are really into measuring. So I just like to do a little dash. Then what I'm gonna do is half a teaspoon of baking powder and half a teaspoon of baking soda. Baking powder and baking soda do different things for cooking. One will make it more cakey, the other one's a little bit more soft. So with these cookies, I like to add both because you get kind of that thick, chunky, chewy cookie when you do the 2 of them together. So it's really good. So from there, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stir that all together. Then I'm going to add my monk fruit sweetener. So this is what I've been really liking lately. I do prefer stevia as well, but there's a lot of people who don't like the aftertaste of stevia. You could use coconut sugar, you could use regular sugar, you could use whatever you like. So next what we're gonna do is we are going to add the egg in. It's only 1 egg. So 1 quick egg in there, and we're adding it right to that flour mixture. Yeah, all together. Then we are going to add 1/4 cup of coconut oil and 1/4 cup of this Earth Balance vegan butter because it's dairy free. I really like it in baking. It works amazing. And what I actually do is I measure 1/4 cup of each, and then I put it in this cup together, and then I melt them together, and then I add it in. And I add it completely melted. So it's a little different than your traditional cookie when it would just be kind of like room temperature. So from there, I'm gonna add 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup. And then just about 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I also don't really measure this. I just kind of add it in, and it always works out pretty well for me. That might have been more than 1 teaspoon, but that's okay. And then I literally just mix. That's it. Make sure that it's all mixed really well together. I also just use a fork for this. I mean, you can use a whisk, you can use whatever you like. So that's mixing really, really well now. It's already like a nice cookie dough consistency. Then what I'm gonna do is get some chocolate chips. And I also just kind of hand bomb this. So I'm gonna just do 1.5 handfuls, just because I know the little guy will get into this too. So I just don't want it too packed full of chocolate for him. So we're gonna get all that in there. Awesome. All right, so once that's done, you always want to make sure, obviously, your oven's preheated. I use parchment paper on my baking sheet. My favorite parchment paper to use is the Kirkland Signature brand that you can get at Costco. You can buy 2 big ones for, I think it's, I don't know, like $8 or something, but it's a great deal. I've literally had that one forever, and I bake all the time, and I haven't even opened the other one. So that kind of tells you how long it's gonna last you. Then what we're gonna do is I just like to grab a handful, about 1 to 2 inch balls, depending how big you want. And you want your dough to be where you can roll it and there's nothing sticky, like it's just nice and flat. And then I just flatten it on my pan, just like that. So I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna bake it in the oven for about 8 to 12 minutes. I know that's like 4 minutes can be a big thing, but every oven's different. So that's why I say that. I say check it at 8, and you wanna bake it until the bottom is kind of like a light brown. Yeah, and then the middle's still a little bit springy. I don't like to bake mine too long because I don't really like them too crispy. I like them when they're a little bit more chewy. So yeah, so kind of go by preference. I mean, if you want them a little bit more crispy, obviously leave them in for like the full 12. But, and literally like before I started filming this and I prepped all the flours and all the syrup and all that stuff, that literally probably took me like 5 minutes. So we're at what, 6 minutes on the video right now. So you can get all of this done within about 10 minutes with prep, putting it together, and then let's estimate 10 minutes in the oven. So 20 minutes for super tasty cookies. All right, almost done rolling them here. And I'll show them to you guys too before I put them in the oven. All right, I got some CCR playing in the background on the vinyl because that is just the way I like to bake. And there is quite a bit of chocolate chips in here looking at it. I'm sure the boys won't be upset about that though. All right. And then for substitutions too, if you guys don't have coconut oil, you could use all butter if you want. If you don't have butter, you could use all coconut oil. You could probably use honey instead of syrup. But yeah, all of that'll work. A lot of people think that you have to be so precise with baking and like, oh my God, it has to be all-purpose flour. It has to be, you know, whole wheat. Otherwise it changes it. For me, I have honestly never known a difference. Like I've never just, noticed a difference before. And before I went gluten and dairy free, I baked everything normally. So I'm just gonna wash my hands quick. And don't worry, after I prepped everything, before I started filming, I washed my hands. So when I'm rolling those cookies, everything's clean, don't worry. All right, these are ready to go in the oven. As you can see, these are gonna pop in. Now I'm gonna put a timer on for 8 minutes. That way I will check at 8 and kind of see what they're looking like. But I know with my oven, I made a batch of these yesterday, like I was saying, and with my oven, I baked them yesterday, I think for like 11 minutes is when I found them perfect and I popped them out. Then I just put them on the cookie rack and let them cool. I honestly had to leave right for work when they were cooling, so I'm pretty sure the husband dove right in. But yeah, they approved, they're delicious. So I will share the recipe with you guys, obviously on this post. And I would show you when they're done, but I already have a batch here for you to check out. They are so delicious. So check them out. Let me know if you like this video, if you want me to do more. I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for a long time now, with the Eat Clean with Jamie Green. So this might end up on YouTube, and I might do a lot more if you guys like this IGTV I'm doing for you. So anyway, take care, have a great long weekend, and go Lakers.